Well, I'm really excited because you have this new EP base camp. Talk about some themes you guys explore on it.
Um, yeah, it's kind of like all our music. It has a hodgepodge of, emotions and themes, I think. Simply given we wrote it over a long period of time. We started it, pre-pandemic, some of those songs. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of those songs are one of them's political, which was a first for us. Like we've never tapped into talking about politics on in our music. So we did. Yeah, Copenhagen explores, like, honestly, gun violence. We did a writing trip to Copenhagen, and the U.S. was going through a string of like mass shootings, and then we came back, and there was a shooting near my house, actually in Los Angeles, and we was like just kind of like fuck this place a little bit. Um, so yeah, Copenhagen was born from that idea of I get it. Like Scandinavia has its issues too, but it certainly has way less gun violence. So that was that. I mean, Love Like It's Religion explores, like, how we define love, and what love can look like, and the all the textures and colors it can be, and to not be so rigidly defined by a traditional sense of what love is. And I don't know, like all our songs, there's some happy, sad in each song, and yeah, hopefully that kind of answers your questions. But we've tapped on, Love Lost. We wrote a pandemic song in there tried to not make it a pandemic song like everybody else, but hopefully made something sort of timeless that could outlast In Love or An Enemy. Yeah.
What was it about these two songs that made them the first two tracks worth kicking off this EP?
Sad Anymore, and then Copenhagen. Was it Copenhagen? Yeah. Um,
Lover
or Love or An Enemy was a single, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
and
already forgot.
Copenhagen.
I already forgot. Sorry, we're halfway through this tour, and I'm like, my brain is putty. I don't know. I think the label always has an input, and tells you what they think they can work. So we always take that into consideration. Lover and Enemy just kind of felt fun. Um, even though the song's about being lonely, essentially. Um, I don't know. That one felt kind of like a bit of an anthem. So hey,
Hmm.
let's throw it out, and that chorus feels kind of like a very singable thing. So let's try it as a single. That was the extent of the thought, and then um, Copenhagen was, yeah, for us it was important to say something, however subtle it was in the song. We tend to not cower away, but tend to be neutral and like not express our opinions on global issues, simply
Sure.
because I'm not an elected official, he's not an elected official. Why would we matter to, like, you didn't choose me to be your voice, so why would I voice these opinions?
Hmm.
But we thought this one felt like just timely and homely, and not homely. It felt timely, and sadly still applies today. Sadly, that week that it came out, there were still mass shootings in the U.S., and we were like, yeah, this needs to come out. So that's why that one felt important to put out. Yeah.
Is that track then a personal favorite for you, one that really holds a special significance for you?
Um, I like Copenhagen. I like it. Yeah. I think of out of all those, it's I think for me the one that's become the most personal probably is Insignificant Other. It's the sixth track on the EP, and it's stripped, and it's a song about feeling like you don't matter. Um, and the end's sort of a flip on it, like maybe that's a good thing, The end of the song says, "I'm made of mud," and it's like maybe that's okay. I'm just this blip of dust for, hopefully 100 years, and maybe that's okay. So that's become my personal favorite. Yeah.
Is there one then that maybe challenged you the most creatively, or you and of course your musical partner maybe challenged you guys the most when you were creatively coming up with something?
Yeah, definitely. Brett and I have we've done a few other interviews about the EP, and both him and I thought Love Like It's Religion was the most challenging for us to just finish, to write, to to work our way through. I think that was because we started it in Copenhagen with the woman singing on it, Drew Sycamore, and her and Brett were very locked in that session, and I was probably having a little trouble getting into their headspace, and so I was just more in the producer role, and so there was a little tension in the room to begin with of kind of like, I don't totally get what you guys are going for, so I kind of took a back seat, and then like all our music, we each try, both Brett and I try to inject our personal stories into whatever the topic is, just to make it feel real for each of us. So um, we tried to do that, and we went through a bunch of different verses, a bunch of different productions of it, and I had a different vision, he had a different vision, and whenever that happens, that can just not butt heads, but we can disagree on the direction of the song, and so we put that one aside for a long time to let it marinate, and then we came back to it and were able to finish it. But that one was probably the most trying out of the EP. Not in a bad way, just it took a lot of
Sure.
time. Yeah.
It was a labor of love.
It was a labor of love. Yeah. And like, I think people don't, bands don't speak about that enough. Like tension, there's often tension creatively. And that's the sweet spot sometimes, is that little, Venn diagram where the circles perfectly, overlap. That little sliver is the sweet spot. And that's what we work towards. And sometimes that takes 2 years. Sometimes that takes 6 months. Sometimes, but yes, labor of love.
Do you all have a typical songwriting process that you go through, or does it tend to vary each time you write a song? Maybe you'll get in your mind a little lyric and you find eventually a beat to go with it or a sound to go with it, or is there maybe not a typical way you guys tend to write?
Um, I think it probably depends on the season. But I'd say in general, it's quite different from song to song. Uh, it kind of depends on who brings the idea to the table. I'll say this: the consistent thing is typically our ideas start separately, and then we bring the ideas to each other, unless we're in a writing session with another producer or writer. So the idea starts that day with the two of us. I'd say for the most part, the ideas start separately, and then I'll speak to me personally. I like to usually start with some chords and I create a rough, very rough instrumental, and then I start to sing ideas. I just turn on the mic and improvise. I know Brett does that a lot too, but I think sometimes he can be a little bit more, uh, not strict idea driven, but he'll he has a notebook he journals in and stuff, and he'll write ideas down, and he'll bring ideas kind of up like that. And he's a lot of acoustic guitar and singing starts, I think, as far as I remember. Um, but then yeah, once the idea comes together and we decide, all right, let's work on this together. We usually split the verses. Somebody writes their own verse, and we work on the choruses together. He does some production. The final stages usually fall on me, so the sessions typically at my computer in the last 70 to 95%, and then I clean it off and send it off so we don't have to mix it. That's kind of it, yeah. But it's a slew of processes.
How much of a hand then does the band tend to have when it comes to the production side of the music you make?
We do most of it. Completely depends on song. Sometimes we have producers we collab with. Sometimes we don't touch. Like this was the first time. So Pretend with King Henry on the EP was the first time we haven't produced anything on a song. Um, yeah, he's just so good and didn't need us. And sometimes the best thing you can do as a producer is just to like shut up, walk away, step away, and just let the thing happen. So he's so talented, and yeah, it made sense for him to do it. But I'd say in general, we're either co-producing or producing it ourselves.
You're out on tour right now. Have the fans been enjoying you guys performing specific songs off the EP, or are they just loving the EP altogether and enjoying hearing you guys play them live?
It's been pretty good actually. Since we put the EP out a week into the tour, so that so that first week of shows didn't really know the songs yet. But now it's picked up and people seem to be singing word for word. Like Lover and Enemy goes off pretty dang well live. That thing bops for seems to bop for people. We've done Pretend a few times that worked well. Love Like It's Religion, we've been playing consistently, and that does great. We play that towards the end of the set. But we are changing the set like every night. It's a new thing for us. We're just kind of trying to read the crowd and just mix it up every night. Yeah. Haven't played Insignificant Other yet, but hopeful we'll do it on the second half of the tour. But yeah, reaction's been really positive, and it's good to see people again. Haven't seen some of these fans in these country or states in a while. I'm all out of sorts. Countries. I
That's
don't
it
know where I
sounds
am. I don't know where the hell I
like
am.
you got to get you a
Yeah.
nap at some
I
point
know.
or more
I
coffee,
know.
whatever it's going to take to
I
get you
know.
going through the rest of the day, James.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting there.
These are softballs compared to what your life is.
I know. Give me something heavy and watch me bomb it. Yeah.
Is there an emotion or maybe a message that you hope with people who explore base camp as a whole?
Um. Yes, I have hopes for how people feel with it, when they listen to it, but I also don't want to control it in any capacity. I think our job is to um get the music to being released, and then yeah, we have to promote it and all that stuff, but past that, like, I want people to own it how they want to own it, and I want people to make up stories for the songs, and inject wrong lyrics into it, and feel the songs how they need to feel them. I think if anything, if I could place one emotion on it or one idea on it, is I want us and our music to feel like you're revisiting a best friend. You're it's the constant you can come back to. Yeah, and I kind of want to be that home for people as we grow older and as they grow older, and yeah, that'd be the one thing I would place on somebody. But I hope they just do whatever the hell they want with it, and love it, hate it, whatever. It's yours.
Not to put too much pressure on you, but have you guys been working on some new music lately?
Yeah, we were actually just listening to some this morning. We're in Spokane right now, Brett's hometown, and we're at his house, and he was playing some songs, and we are like, oh, that's pretty good. We could use that because we're doing an album next year, so we've got a lot of writing this winter after the tour is over. So we got another 14 shows on this tour, and then yeah, we'll start writing. So we've been haven't been like super actively writing just because shows have been the schedule's been pretty rigorous. So um, after tour, we'll really dive in to the music.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible music that Frenship makes?
Well, it's sweet of you to call it incredible. We appreciate it. I think first off, just massive thank you, because you can listen. There's so much music that comes out every day. There's so much music that gets blasted into your head around the clock, and anybody listening to it is okay in my book. So thank you. And yeah, this is a bit of a detour, but we were on stage the other night, and Brett brought it up, and he was like, or brought this up. He was like, so we've been putting out music for like 10 years almost. And I was like, holy shit, that's been almost 10 years. So I'm proud of us for being here still. And I'm honored that people are still listening and showing up to shows. So yeah, just a massive thank you to anybody that still gives a shit.